Just doing a quick recap of the Heim roof and solar project. So this customer, Mercury Plastics, has done 5 different projects with us, and he needed a new roof, didn't really want to write a check for it, so he used the power company funding, and the incentives end up offsetting a huge portion of it. So that's why he did it. I haven't had anybody do a project because they just wanted to be green alone. It had to be to make financial sense. So the roof and solar funded price in this case was 1.9 minus almost 1.8 worth of incentives. So he ended up with a new roof and solar package with incentives covering all but 119,000 of it, and he saved 73,000 per year. And the blue column here, cumulative cash flow, those payments don't start until it's fully completed and turned on. But even when he makes all those payments over those years, that blue column in year 5, it only goes, the worst it goes is being positive $8,500. So we are always out are looking for whatever incentives are available for businesses so you don't have to. And we've been around since 1985 doing projects like that save commercial building owners, mainly manufacturers, um, money on doing energy saving projects. And the power company funding we have, you submit a couple years financials, and it's not considered a lien or a loan in any way because they're not a lender; it's a power company. So there's no payment until the project's fully completed and turned on. So if you're to do a project now and use that funding, you wouldn't have a payment till probably June or July next year. So the largest incentive is a tax credit, dollar for dollar tax credit. Most of the country, it's a 30% tax credit, but Chicagoland's been approved as an energy community because of employment in the energy sector. So now everyone that does a roof and solar, they get a 40% tax credit. So, and then, depreciation on that as well. So they were trying to get our country to save on energy, produce more energy. That's why the incentives were put in place. But unfortunately, they're going away. So we have to lock in these projects before the July 4th of 2026. And we can do that with a safe harbor program. And then it has to be fully completed by the end of 2027. So that's the new rule. Trump did make 100% depreciation in year 1, made that available. So, but this tax credit will go away, and that applies towards a new roof, the switch gear, combined with solar and EV chargers. That's the tax credit. So that is kind of the reason to maybe look at things now. And our state, Illinois, offers SREC credits, so solar renewable energy credits. They pay for up to 15 years. Some states offer incentives on solar projects, and in Illinois they do, and they're called solar renewable energy credits, or SRECs. And they pay you for having the solar array turned on for 15 years, and they pay you in the first 7 every quarter. You get a check. And then there's incentives from the power company. There's an inverter rebate as well. And we only use tier 1 Bloomberg certified equipment. So the panels are assembled. It's an American company. They've been around a long time. They're assembled in Georgia, and they're working to have 100% of the production in the US. And then the inverters are German engineered, but the company's here selling them. And the racking company that we use is based in Illinois, and they manufacture the racking system. So we've got a project here, Camcraft. They actually did the solar, but what ended up happening is they made a little mistake. They paid for the roof in the year prior to doing solar. And when you do that, it's not considered one project. So they missed out on getting 40% of the cost of that roof back by not combining it with a roof solar project at the same time. So with the Heim group, the new roof goes on. It's a weighted ballasted system that goes up there. And In this case, there's 1,100 panels, 10 inverters, and it's there's not a single, So your solar project at Heim Group has 1,109 panels and 10 inverters, and it's a weighted ballasted system. So we don't put any holes in your brand new roof, and we tie in quite often to the electrical panel or wherever you have the meter going down the outside of the wall. So there's no penetrations that could cause additional leaks. And we worked with the roofer to make sure their warranty is with solar panels on it. And then ComEd installs a net meter. What happens with that is if you're closed on the 4th of July and it's sunny and you're producing energy that you're not using, it ends up being measured by that meter and stored on the grid, and you get a 1-for-1 credit. So that credit stays on your account number until you use it. So when you add up all the panels, it's a 654 kilowatt system. And this production number, 749,000 kilowatt hours, we guarantee that for 30 years. And in your case, we had enough room up there to put enough panels to cover 100% of your usage. So that ends up saving you 74,000, almost 75,000 per year. And when you put 749,000 kilowatt hours in the EPA website, it tells us that you're saving 532 CO2 metric tons of greenhouse gas emissions per year. And so the green box here in the middle shows how we calculated the annual savings. So the panels has 7 years maintenance and monitoring. There's no additional charge for that. And we show you how to do the maintenance. There's an inverter filter on those 10 inverters that has to be changed. It's like a $30 filter. So the roof project was $760. The inverter rebate we guarantee and deduct from the price. So your cash price is 1.9, and the Constellation funding option, they add that additional amount in there without seeing financials. So they could change that number after they take a look at financials. But the tax credit was 30%. Now it's 40%. And then you get the bonus accelerated depreciation was 60%. Now it's 100%. So, and then the solar renewable energy credits, the SRECs from the state, add up to 516,000. So over to the right, roof and solar funded 2.5 minus 1.7 worth of incentives, and 868,000 not covered by incentives, but you're saving almost 75,000 per year. And that looks a little different with the cash flow. So if you look at a normal ROI, you pay it the 1.9 in year one, you get the energy savings, and we have a 3% accelerator there. You get 70,000 from the state. So each quarter you get a check adding up to $70,000 for that year. You get $693,000 of tax credit in year one, and then you get the bonus depreciation, and we spread it out over 6 years. But if you look at the cumulative cash flow, it's a 4-year ROI on a roof without solar combining it. There's never an ROI on a roof. Now the right side shows if you use the power company funding. So there would be no payment until the project's fully completed and turned on. So sometime next year, you'd start one of 60 payments. So this 517 divided by 12 would be the payment that's actually on the bill. But when you add up the incentives, you get the savings, you get the 70,000 from the state program, you get the tax credit and depreciation. The project in year one is positive $715,000. Then it goes down as you're making those payments, goes negative 300 in year four, 649 negative in year five. And then it takes, so from year five, when you've made your last payment and you're fully invested in it, no more payments. And from that point on, it ends up having a 6-year ROI. So it does take quite a while to get these projects up and running. There's a interconnection agreement from ComEd where they have to approve it before we can order materials and do all that. And before there was a cutoff, they were taking quite a long time, 6 to 10 weeks to get an approval. Now it's taken even longer, and they're a monopoly, so we have to wait on them to get that approval. And then once we get the approval, we can order materials and start scheduling everything. And if you did need a roof, we would obviously get that going first right away, either if with the funding or in the cash situation. So here's a customer who had a pretty expensive roof, ended up having a 5-year ROI, and here he is a year and a half later on what he thought of the program.
About a year and a half later, we can say never paid a dime for anything. Got over $2 million worth of solar equipment on the roof, and we're going great. Jim and his team at Revenue Task Force did a great job finding money everywhere between incentives and grants and rebates, tapping into federal money, state money. The energy companies are offering an incentive. So it was really, really a great program. Really happy with what we did here.
And with that, thank you very much.